Hi, and welcome to my information visualization final project presentation. This project looked at the World Happiness Reports from the years 2015 up to 2019. These reports rank each country based on their happiness levels, and typically what the user is provided with is just the ranking. But once we're able to look at the full data sets, we're able to do quite a bit more than just that. So firstly, we're going to import the needed libraries. And then we're going to read in all of these CSV files with the data and convert them to data frames. From here, we can now see the individual metrics beginning here at GDP that actually make up the score that we see. And that score is then converted into the ranking system. We gotta do a lot of cleaning here, as we can see in 1 year, happiness.rank, years prior it's happiness rank. They're quite inconsistent, so we just have to clean them up a little bit. And firstly, to get a good overview, we can use a choropleth map. Given that we're looking at countries all over the world, it's a great little introduction. So each country is color-coded by its score, and we can hover over to see what country we're looking at. We can zoom in if we'd like, which is helpful for the smaller countries. As we can see, we're going from a light yellow down to a dark purple, and even though we are using the use of country or of color, something like this converts very, very well to a grayscale, and is accommodating for other colorblind types as well. As we can see, there's consistency within regions or continents themselves on the colors. So from that, it's great to visualize a histogram. When we hear about this report, we typically hear about Western Europe, Finland, Denmark, Netherlands, and how they're the happiest. This is interesting to actually see that some areas actually rank a little bit higher. And we can see how all of them compare. And then from here, we can look at individual metrics that actually begin to influence that score. So we can make a scatter plot. Again, using Plotly Express so that we can go over and see what countries we're looking at. As we can see, there's a pretty clear trend going on here. So it's helpful to use something like Seaborn to actually put a line of best fit within that. If we were to make a residuals plot of this graph right here, it would likely look pretty random, which is exactly what we would want. And so far, we've only been using data from 1 year, but we can merge them all together and have all 5 years within one. And if we are to do that for GDP, we can see that this trend here holds pretty consistently throughout all of the years. I tried this with all of the different metrics, and GDP was the only one where when there was a rise in that metric, there was a rise in score that looked pretty consistent. Just for comparison, we can do this with government as well. We can see a giant cluster over here, and then it's just kind of scattered Rwanda all the way over here. And then, of course, those with the highest trust, Finland, Switzerland, New Zealand, those that you would likely expect. We can again use Seaborn for this to try and put a line of best fit. And as we can see, does not really make much sense. It would not be a good metric whatsoever to make a prediction if we only knew one of these axes. It would be difficult to find the other one. So again, using this merge dataset, we can now access the data for each country for all 5 years. So in this case, again, using pandas here to filter out by Switzerland. And even though this is not a visualization, it's still fun to see how the rank changes from year to year. So now that we have it merged, we can create yet another map. This time, the newest feature here is that we can actually drag this slider down here to see how it changes over all of the years. And from this, it's interesting to zoom in on a specific region and click play. And if we keep our eye here on Switzerland, we can see that it remains pretty yellow while some of the surrounding countries change. Of course, this does slightly vary in color from year to year, but remains pretty consistent. So if we want to see how something like Switzerland and Norway would compare, we can simply come down here and we can just input the names of the countries we want to take a look at. And we'll end up with a time series plot. So this is a neat way to visualize how they compare year to year to one another. We can see that they actually flipped completely, pretty much, and which one was the winner. Since the difference here is only 0.1, there's not much to look at, but if we were to, for instance, instead of Switzerland, change that to Uganda, we notice that now that Norway line becomes pretty much flat compared to such a low-ranking country, because this y-axis is accommodating to whatever the countries are that we're looking at. And lastly, just for fun, I decided to randomly select 5 countries, all unique countries from the dataset, and have their time series plotted, because there's so many countries out there, so many that we would never really think to choose from. So this is a good way to take a look at some of the countries that otherwise we probably would have forgotten about. Botswana, for instance, Tanzania, some of those that kind of get lost in the data, especially if they're low down. And thank you so much for watching.